Hey, with us now, NBC News Chief White House Correspondent and Political Director Chuck Todd. Chuck, thanks for being with us. A lot to go through. Let's start with the presidential approval rating. The president at 51%. Tell us about it. What's happening?
Well, Joe, look, third straight month, it's clear that health care has taken a toll on the president, because this is now he's down to 51. The three groups that he's really hurting with, there are three groups that are reacting initially to health care, and that is seniors. Hey, they deal with the health care system more than a lot of us day to day. Suburban women, so think about this, you know, the folks that run households and deal, again, with the health care system day to day. And then, of course, independents who are seeing all this town hall stuff, both on the left and the right, and are sitting there and just a little bit nervous about all this government
If you're David Axelrod, are you focusing mainly on independents, suburban moms? What group do you want to, or is it the seniors that you have got to get back on your side?
I think at this point, honestly, the loss of suburban women, if you look at those three groups, I would say the loss of the suburban women is the one that's most painful right now politically, and that's the one you try to get back.
Okay, you wrote a book about these swing counties, and all of these swing counties, and we always talk about right outside of Philadelphia, Bucks County, Montgomery County. Is it the suburban women that swing these elections that you saw in your book in county after county?
It is, because remember, Joe, they're the ones, and they were the most affected by the economy in many ways, because, you know, they see the checkbooks. They're the ones taking the kids to the doctors. They're the ones that have the day-to-day interaction with the insurance companies. They're the ones that know their health care plan better, frankly, than most of their spouses. And so that's why they're paying attention to this debate a little bit more. And they're trying to figure out what's in it for me. And that is something our pollster says that at the end of the day on this health care debate, this is what happened to the Clintons in the 90s, and it's what's happening right now to the Obama White House, is that they haven't been able to tell the American people that have private insurance what they get out of health care reform. He's trying. If you notice, the last three town halls have all been focused on that issue, but they're not hearing it. What people with private insurance are hearing is, oh, I might lose this benefit, or this might change, or I don't know what's going to. They're hearing what they're not going to have, or what the opposition says they're not going to have. They're not hearing what new they're going to get. At the end of the day, we're kind of a selfish society in that, and healthcare is a very personal thing.
It is, and Chuck, on that, you say they're paying attention more exactly because it is so personal, but also I think to tag off of what Martin Savage was talking about and what you and Dylan were talking about on the radio yesterday, pertaining to the overall economy and the fear people have, and I think a growing distrust when you have bailed out companies still giving out $100 million bonuses. People are saying, A, can we afford this? This is really personal. Do I really want them, as in this administration, handling these problems, given everything else that's happened so far that I don't think has helped shore up trust?
I go back to what Colin Powell said 2 or 3 weeks ago when he was talking about the president he supported. Said he may have overloaded the circuits. He may be trying to do too many things at once. And Chuck, healthcare, obviously, the most personal of all of these things for a lot of Americans. So does the White House regret anything about the way they've rolled this out? What are you hearing there? What's the strategy to stay above 50%? I said before, Reagan always fretted going below 50% in the approval ratings. No president wants to be upside down in the overall approval job rating. What's the plan there?
Well, at this point, they just want to get it done. I think that's why you're seeing so many public signals about, look, we're ready to cut a deal, you know, on the public option, or, you know, we'll look at these co-ops, we'll do these things, because I think at this point they want to get a deal, get this done, and get this debate behind them. They can win the battle here and get a health care bill passed, lose the PR war, but the faster they get this in the rearview mirror, I think at this point, they see is the best option to move forward and start focusing on other issues. The other thing they need, you talk about this anxiety over government intervention, they need either more attention to be made or more money to be paid back, for instance, on the TARP. You know, I've heard this frustration from them, which is, hey, do you know, these banks have been paying back money to the TARP, and it gets interpreted as, oh, they just don't want to have government involved, and it's sort of like, hey, well, we've softened the blow on the economy. Things appear to be headed in the right direction, at least with the financial sector. And these folks are paying money back to the government. and they're not getting any of the credit here on this. And they think that if the public sees that and they see government working and they see that government can succeed at something, then maybe the benefit of the doubt comes back to the president when he's trying to get to say that government is part of the solution when it comes to fixing healthcare.
Let's go to John Ridley. John.
On that point, Chuck, did the president make a bit of a mistake, or at least administrations, trying to put a number to how many jobs would come back and how quickly they come back? Because definitely, I mean, look, I think all of us would agree that the economy seems to at least stabilize, but people now are looking, hey, you promised this number of jobs, which maybe nobody could really predict.
Well, you know, and they used it's an economic model. I remember quizzing one of their economists, I think it was Jared Bernstein. He said, "Oh, it's a tried and true method." Well, it might be, but this is unlike any other recession that we had faced in a long time. So you don't know. You know, there were like 3 or 4 theories of the case that, oh, this is going to be one of those recessions where the spike that goes down, since it spiked down, well, we'll spike up and jobs will just come in a hurry. You know, we'll see. I think at the end of the day, they're going to get judged on the jobs number, not now, not in 3 months, but in September 2010, October 2010.
Exactly.
If they don't have jobs then and those jobs numbers, and they're not seeing 100, 150, 200,000 jobs added a month at that point, then I think you will see them face
and that's what's important to remember, Chuck, is that these polls are merely a snapshot. It's what's happening this time next year with job numbers that are going to affect polls, that are going to affect midterm elections. Right before we go really quickly, is the White House blaming the town hall meetings, the chaos that's out there, talk radio for these falling numbers? What are you hearing?
Well, they're upset at the media coverage a little bit. And look, when you look, we tested the myths. I saw we threw up the graphic there, and it is amazing. Majorities believe some of these things, like that somehow health care is going to go to all illegal immigrants, that the federal government's going to be paying women to have abortions, that the federal government's going to decide when to pull the plug on grandma, essentially. You know, nearly 50%. So they realize that is, and they feel like that information has only come from, you know, opinionated media, and let's just keep it at that.
All right. Thanks so much, Chuck Todd.
We will be reading your updates throughout the day on firstread.msnbc.com.
Those are some fascinating numbers.